Two, three. All right, very good. Okay. Can someone recollect anything that we saw last? Okay.
So we learned that nature has given all of us three different sorry, not personalities, like qualities. They're
Mm-hmm.
restlessness, peacefulness, and laziness.
A little louder, please.
Sorry, so nature has given each of us three different properties: restlessness, laziness, and peacefulness.
Okay, fine. Danur Vishwa, would you like to add something?
About somebody's nature.
Okay, we saw about somebody's nature. And about our nature?
Yeah.
About our nature also, isn't it? So we have different times, we have different natures, isn't it? But the question is, can you control your nature? No or yes?
So you can control your nature. You just have, instead of crushing each other, you just have to balance them out.
Acha, you have to balance your nature. You have to identify. Sometimes you feel lazy, isn't it? But when you have a job to do, can you allow yourself to become lazy? No. When you have something important things to do, that time you can't get lazy. When you have to be very, constant. Have anybody gone to a chemistry lab? Has anybody gone to a chemistry lab? Yes. Can you be restless inside of the chemistry lab, dealing with chemicals? Rennie says yes.
So I'll tell you that when I was in seventh last year, we had a science exhibition for Coach. So people were given different subjects to like make science and maths. They were given different subjects. So my group got chemistry. So we decided to do on a red cabbage indicator. So we went half the time we were in the chemistry lab just messing around with the chemicals because we it was fun. So we put HCl with the red cabbage indicator because HCl is a very strong acid. It turned this beautiful shade of bright red.
Okay.
And then we took sodium hydroxide and
Hmm.
then mixed that with phenolphthalein and it turns it pink, like very nice shade of pink. We decided to mix both of them.
Acha. Okay.
So we did, and then after that, while washing the tubes, we broke them.
Okay. But were you under supervision or you were doing it without
Um,
supervision?
we were under supervision. And
Okay, so that was allowed, whatever, because sometimes, chemical reactions have very bad reactions as well. Fumes come out, ammonia smell. Have you got the smell of ammonia anytime in the lab? How is it?
it doesn't smell very good.
Rotten egg or
Yeah.
something like that. No, it smells very bad. So sometimes you have to be careful. But what I was saying is, even when you are experimenting, that's very good. But can you be restless while playing with the chemicals? A friend of mine, his sister's hair turned white because chemical fell on it. She was not careful. Why should your hand go up here? No? She was talking something and carelessly, moved her hand. So there was one big patch which was always white.
Sir, it never came back to its original color.
No, she did not. It was a patch. That was very strange. It was like, how to say? Or maybe that was when I saw it. I don't know. After some years, I did not see his sister often. So it might have come back later on. But at least for the entire month, I would go in the vacation. It was visible. No, but it's at least it's just a superficial one, cosmetic. No, color of hair is something else. But what if it falls on skin? It becomes dangerous, isn't it? It can damage. Like now right now I'm talking from a factory where we manufacture. So what do we have to do? We have to do carefully. We have to, we have to understand the reactions. If we are restless, we will end up spoiling everything. So that is why restlessness is not required. So we can control our nature. The remote of our nature should be in our hands. We cannot be reacting just to something else. Otherwise, you'll be sitting quietly, somebody will come and irritate you, become restless. You're going to be sitting or doing some work, someone will come and disturb you and say there's no point of doing what you are doing. What will happen then? You'll feel lazy, no? Sometimes people have very good convincing powers. There was this friend who said going to college is useless. He convinced one more friend. Both of them for an entire semester decided to not go to college. And what happened after that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was not fun for them, but for everybody else, they were finding it hilarious because they thought it would help them a lot. It did not help. So next semester they joined. They got a warning and then they allowed them to join, write the exams. Otherwise, they would have lost a year. So this is something we have to be like always alert. We should be aware. When we are aware, we know, we understand, isn't it? When we are aware of, you know what you are good at, you know what you are not good at, you know what is your plus point, what is your minus point. All this will work when you are aware. When you are not aware, you'll do like what my friend's sister did with a chemical on the head. That's not at all something we want to do. So anyway, let's continue. We enter into the next chapter. The chapter's title is very interesting. The purpose of hurdles and difficulties. You know where the teacher took all the students? The teacher took the students to a field. Has anybody gone to a field? Yeah? If yes, have you seen it from close? Look at this picture here depicting the field. What do you see? Can someone describe? Yeah?
There's a boy who is holding a crop, like one plant.
Okay.
So they are harvesting.
Yeah?
They are harvesting.
Okay, they're harvesting all right, harvest is there. What does it look like?
It look like a field.
It looks like a field. There's a tree, there's somebody working in the field, and he's got a crop in his hand. Yes or no? There's a point written below. Can you tell me what's written here?
There, that is the definite plan behind all creating.
All right. So there's a definite plan behind all creation. Let us see. Let's close this right now. Okay. Now, for today's lesson, the teacher took his students out for a field trip to a paddy field. In the fresh atmosphere of the paddy field, the teacher began the lesson. The teacher said, students, we are near a paddy field today. The student says, yes, sir. It's so nice to see the farm with fully grown paddy. The teacher replies, correct. What else do you see here? You are also holding a fully grown paddy in your hand. What do you think is the next step? Because what happens in the field trip, everybody can see, they can see from close, they can touch. So somebody takes out and takes a stalk of paddy in the hand. He asks them, what do you think is the next step? And the student says they are ready now and good to eat after good cleaning. We eat, isn't it? We eat paddy after it is cleaned, after it is wonderfully polished, all of that. So teacher says, yes, we eat the upper part, but what about the middle and the roots below? One student says, It's just a waste. We can't eat it. Can we eat the middle and bottom part of a paddy? No. So the student says it's a waste. The teacher corrects. The teacher says it seems to be a waste for human consumption. But the middle part, which is big, is used as fodder for animals like cows and buffaloes, as it is good for their sustenance and growth. The lowest part is returned to the soil, which becomes a source of nutrient for the soil itself. So, what is it? It may be waste for us, we can't eat, but it's not waste for the environment, isn't it? The middle part is used as fodder for cattle, for cows, buffaloes. It helps them grow. And the lowest part is returned to the soil and it becomes what we call manure. It's a source of nutrition. So, does that mean what we don't eat is waste? No, if we understand. In our unit also, after manufacturing, byproducts, no? Whatever byproducts are there, they become manure for plants because there are no chemicals used in it. So that it is something, a cycle and recycling that happens. So this one must understand. The student says, so nice. So nothing goes waste. Upper part is utilized by humans, middle for cattle, and last for soil as a return gift. Very nicely, the student has said. Yes, Rennie.
So doesn't this like describe the saying one man's trash is another man's treasure?
Yeah, absolutely. One man's trash is another's treasure. Beautiful quote Rennie has given us. So we should understand it, isn't it? We should not describe everything as trash and reject it. But you should learn how to make a treasure out of trash also. That is something. Value must be understood. Like in Ayurveda, they say each and every plant is a medicine. Only the Vaidya must be found who can convert the plant into a medicine. Otherwise, every plant has a medicinal value. Let's continue. The teacher says, indeed. Now, now just come close and observe the paddy in the field. What do you see? The student says, the grains are fully grown, but I observe some small insects on it. The teacher says, yes. It's not good, no? Insects on plants. We can't eat them, no? What do you think, Danur, Visha? Paddy plants having insects are not good, no?
Yes.
What should we try to make all the insects go away?
Yes.
Because they are reducing the yield. Even little birds come, no? Should we try to make them go away? Okay, there was in a country, I will not name the country because we don't want to make fun of any country, but in Asia only, that country decided to chase away all those sparrows and birds which are eating the crops. So they had put a rule that you find them, you kill those birds because they are reducing the production. You know what happened after that? Because those birds were not there, all the insects started increasing so much, and they had to start importing birds from other countries. Yeah, yes, Rennie.
So isn't this China? I think they did something like that.
Okay. I don't know. It could be. Could be. I'm not naming any country. Yes, it is absolutely something like that because each and everything, there's a nature. We shouldn't mess with nature's cycle for no reason. We should understand, become conscious. Yes, these insects are seasonal. They appear at a particular time. You can also see the small birds eating these insects. These seasonal insects also are foods for the birds, food for the birds. There is a food chain in the process. What we all see here is not a random creation, but a purposeful food chain, isn't it? You must have heard of ecological niche or ecosystem. Anybody has heard of this ecosystem? Have you heard of it? Yeah. So the plants, the animals, the insects, the birds, the soil, all of them are connected. So it may appear. So what should you do? You should try to work. Now, say if you don't want to kill all the insects also. Otherwise, what's going to happen? It might break the ecosystem. Instead, find ways. That is what farmers do. You've heard of organic farming? Anybody has heard of this organic farming? No? Dhanur, you've not heard Vishwa, Dhanur, Rini, you've not heard of organic farming?
I have learnt about organic farming.
Yeah.
It's like where you don't use any chemical fertilizers or manures. Everything's natural.
Yeah, you use manure, but you use natural one. You don't use chemicals, you don't use urea, you don't use all of these others, NPK fertilizers, no nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, phosphorus, all of them are enriched inside of it. But they find natural ways, and even they find natural ways to repel insects also. So the ecosystem does not get damaged. That is something. So each of these are connected. They're connected in what is called a food chain. The student says, yes, sir. So what seems to be just random insects or birds on the surface level is actually a closely knit ecosystem functioning there. When you go outside, you think this just randomly that bird is going, but you know that bird is also doing a role, an important role. That is something in the ecosystem we should understand. When we are aware, we can see. Sometimes we go to a park, isn't it? Have you seen what happens in a park? Reni, just asking you a question. Have you been to any park?
Yes, I have been in parks.
So you've seen what do people do? Everybody seem to be doing nothing, no? Somebody's laughing, somebody's walking, somebody's playing, that's all. Otherwise, nothing specific or nothing concrete work coming out, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
Yeah,
exactly it.
it's on the surface, no? But for somebody, it may be very important moment. One grandfather is with the grandchildren. It's a very special moment. Our friends are playing, or sometimes big discussions may happen. We do not know, no? On the surface, it looks like just general, nothing. But when you go inside, you'll see there's so many things. There's a dog running around, there are butterflies, they are pollinating. If you go on smaller level, you see insects, you see insects also, they are doing their work. So in an ecosystem, everywhere, something is going on. On the surface, it may appear just random, but actually it's quite interconnected. The student says, yes, sir, it seems like a plan of nature. Sometimes it's very wondrous. One doctor, who actually doctor is studying the human biology from beginning, no? From childhood. You will think the person must have got bored. But I've seen one very senior doctor, he says, it's always every time since I started learning biology first, he says, till now I'm going to retire, but I'm still so excited when I see how the human body functions on inside. It's like how these systems are beautifully connected. There's like a plan which has been arranged. How this system communicates. And he says, the more I study, the more I understand. It is beautiful or it is something I'm not able to fully understand. Means that marvel is there. And that's what the students are now seeing. Just looking at an ordinary paddy field. Yes, sir, it seems like a plan of nature. Other than this food chain, can you share any other, can you share another example? The teacher says, yes, there is the same system in the ocean also. So many fishes are there. The small one eat algae and small insects, whereas the big ones eat the small ones, and the big are eaten by the still bigger fishes. This is a self-sustaining food chain in the oceans. In the aquarium, we have to go and we have to always, if anybody has an aquarium, you have to give food, no, to your fishes. But in the ocean, who is going there? Nobody. No man is going there in the ocean to feed the fishes, isn't it? There's a full like ecosystem going on. Even in your aquarium, if you don't clean, what happens? immediately algae formation is there. It's happening naturally. It's like the sunlight enters, and then there's formation. Like that, planktons are there. Planktons are eaten by small fishes. It's actually a beautiful chain of nature, and it's there, and it's a self-sustaining food chain in the ocean. What is the meaning of self-sustaining, anybody?
It's like you don't need any external help to like keep yourself ready. You've
Yeah,
you have everything you need.
it goes on its own, isn't it? Means if you start some project in your life, you should try to make it a self-sustaining project so that that project will only able to grow. That's what many big leaders, management teachers also try to tell. You work in such a way, create something that will keep going on, which will keep getting better. And that is what is found, even in the oceans. The student replies, "Oh, great. We do not feed the oceanic fishes as well." The teacher says the same way there's an ecosystem on land as well. Among the animals, a few eat grass, leaves, and plants. The bigger animals eat the meat of smaller animals and the big ones. Two are eaten by the mightier ones, like the tigers and panthers. The ecosystem self sustains, and still new ones are born in time's course and grow. We do not feed them as well. Sometimes they say, no, survival of the fittest. You must have heard of this term, survival of the fittest, inspired from Charles Darwin in his theory of Darwinism. But fit also survive, not so fit also survive, isn't it? If they are not very strong and powerful. Yes, Vinny.
So isn't like I think I'd heard this somewhere. Hard times create strong people. Strong
Ah,
people create good times, and good times create weak people. Weak people create hard times,
hard
and the
times,
cycle
again
goes on.
hard times. It's a cycle, isn't it? So nature goes on. So all people, it is like continuously. If you see, we'll say, what is the use of a small, insignificant insect? Say ants. There are so many ants, isn't it? Somebody will say, what's the use of all of these ants? Because they are too insignificant. No? Cockroaches. You have heard, do you know will survive even if there's a nuclear explosion? So who is fitter? Human beings or cockroaches? That is a,
Cockroaches.
yeah, in this aspect, isn't it? In this aspect alone. But this shows that nature allows everybody to thrive according, keeping that balance. We don't have countries of made of cockroaches only, isn't it? This is the kingdom of the cockroaches. It is nothing like that. Or any other insects. Man is now balancing everything. If he imbalances, what does nature immediately corrects it, isn't it? When man tries to exploit nature too much, what happens then? Nature creates the balance. So something like that. These are ecosystems which self-sustain. The student says, "Oh, what a scientific cycle of nature." If you look at nature, you will see nature is also scientific. A beautiful science is there. Till date, do you know any factory which manufactures honey? Manufacturing honey. Yes, Dhanur and Vishwa? No, okay, then he was adding something.
Yeah, even I was about to say that.
Yeah, isn't it? We are now going to the moon, we're going to the Mars, we're trying to colonize Mars, all of that is fine. But we are still not able to do manufacturing of honey. And who is doing that? PhD students? In nature, who is manufacturing honey? We have specialists who have not got
The
any
bees
PhD.
have
Yeah,
manufactured the
they've not
honey.
got PhDs, they've not done some special research. And yet they're able to, actually get the essence from various flowers. It's actually beautiful. Who taught them? How do they do that? How does their system thrive? Well, that is nature to you. And that is the beauty of nature. There is also the science of nature. The teacher goes on. He says, beyond these examples, there are huge and unimaginable wonders which we can marvel at. Just observe the glittering stars, the moon, and the sun. The sun is the strongest object, giving light to all those objects in our galaxy. But still, we know that some stronger object is giving light to our galaxy also. And many more galaxies like ours are present in the whole of the universe. What we call the Milky Way is just one, isn't it? There are so many galaxies, so many possibilities in this universe. The student says, oh, it's really unimaginable. Because just studying our own galaxy becomes too much. But what if there are 100,000 galaxies? If somebody even manages to count them, he should be given an award because it will be a miraculous feat. The student says, oh, it's really unimaginable. The teacher replies, yes, but the truth is that there is a true and definite purpose behind the workings of the universe. When we observe these things, we come to know that there is a perfect plan of a highest creative power which is visible behind all of these and also behind all the chaos in our life. The student immediately he asks, can you make it easy for us to understand? The teacher replies, see, when you are small and others feed you, and when you grow up, you have to manage on your own and feed others too. Isn't this the truth of life? When you are young, who is bringing food on the table? Parents, huh?
Yeah.
But after a while, we'll also become parents or not. We'll all grow up, then you'll have to bring food on somebody else's table. What is that then? That is a cycle of life. A farmer grows food and offers to many. Or does the farmer only cultivate? I am a farmer, I want to grow only for myself. Is that what a farmer does? Or he cultivates for everybody? Does he know whom he is cultivating for? No, he does not know his effort. He has worked in the field morning to evening for several months. Sometimes he gets a good yield, sometimes he doesn't get a good yield. Yet he gives it to the society, he gives it to the world. A young boy learns when he is a child, but grows up and becomes a teacher, isn't it? Even if he may not be or she may not be teaching in a school. Yes, Rini, you want to say something?
So are you basically saying that within time all the roles will be reversed?
Not all roles will be
A few.
reversed, but yeah, but when you learn, then you can teach, isn't it? So initially your role is that of the student, and then you start teaching. But I have met so many teachers who say they are students. What does that, how can it be? Teacher is teacher. Yes, Rini.
Sir, everyone's a student in one way or the other because you always learn from everyone, be it younger
Yeah.
than you, like elder than you, or even from non-living beings.
Yes, yes, we can always learn, and the best teachers are also the best students. And they say that studentship and teaching goes hand in hand. They keep learning and they keep growing and they keep teaching as well. It is something like that. And as Rini has told very nicely, we can learn from everybody. We can learn from nature. We can learn from little insects also. We can learn from those who are younger than us. Should we feel bad? Oh no, this person is younger. I can't learn from this person. What does this person know? Nothing like that. We should be in that ready state of always learning. Dr. Abdul Kalam also was like that, very humble. And then Professor Arun Tiwari ji also, who is what we you heard of this book, Wings of Fire? Yeah. So yes, he's the author. I had a good fortune of interacting with him regularly. He responds to mails also, even if I send him immediately within 24 hours. But his spirit is so nice that he wants to learn. He wants to learn from everybody. And yet he's a great teacher who is also teaching everybody. I think this is something we can all do, right? Become students forever. You don't have to worry. Normally, I think students mean somebody will come and ask us to submit assignment. That is not only students' work. Students' work is to learn, and when you learn, you grow. So this is something. So it's not reversing of role, no? Rennie, this is one good example, no? Teacher-student relation. That's not role reversal. It's always going to be there. So something like that. We all must, in our respective fields, learn, experience, and pass on the knowledge to the next generation and play our own roles in the same way so that the chain moves on and on in all the fields. The student replies, yes, sir, but we face many difficulties and hurdles. What is the sensible plan or purpose behind that? That's a good question, no? We face hurdles, no, in life. Everything is ready. I am ready. I have planned everything. And then suddenly, out of syllabus question, something which you are not ready for, it comes in front of you. Anybody has felt that? Some useless thing is stopping us or useless hurdle has come in the way. Have you ever felt like that? Anybody? Yeah? So the question asked by the student is perfect then. He says, what can be the purpose or what can be the plan in hurdles? They seem to be absolutely having no value. The teacher replies, see, there is a definite plan for bringing an evolution in us. Through hurdles, physical and emotional strain, we become stronger. You see, this is also very important. Sometimes difficult moments, I think Reni gave a beautiful quote, isn't it? That quote, Dhanur and Vishwa, can you recollect something from that quote? Did you understand the quote that Reni shared to us? The quote about strong times creating weak people, weak people creating bad times. What's the cycle actually, Rini? What is the quote? I think you can give the best one. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So strong times create weak
Okay.
people create hard times, and hard times create strong people.
So it goes on, no? So sometimes the hurdles are there to make us stronger. They challenge us, isn't it? If we are not challenged, will we grow fast? Look at the Olympic athletes. They challenge themselves, isn't it? Physically, emotionally, mentally, and then they cross what we call human limits. We think our body is capable of doing only certain things. And then these athletes, with their sheer willpower, they're able to transcend limitations. That is why hurdles are there. Hurdles are there to make you strong physically, emotionally. Sometimes something bad happens. It breaks you, it breaks your heart. You feel very sad. You feel, what is all of this? Why, it's so unfair. That's all true. Your feelings are not wrong. But you know what happens then? Because you're feeling bad, you start trying to come to terms with things. And then you learn to become stronger. There was this friend of mine, he used to get very disappointed because people made fun of him. Now, what was wrong? Because something funny was there in his nature, which people quickly caught it and they just kept making fun of him. Today, he's a big commander. And when he walks, his walk is also different now, not like how he was in school. The first thing I did when I connected him after so many years was I reminded him of his name, which we had kept a nickname in school. I wanted to see, is he getting angry or now that he has become a big man, he's got people around him all the time. He had come for a school reunion and he was accompanied by bodyguards. He's become so, means they were officers, they were not just bodyguards, they were officers because he's become so senior. But no, he's remained what we can say grounded. But he has changed, isn't it? So there are so many factors that made him change. That is exactly what we should do. So we understand this. These hurdles are all there. They come in your life because you have to become stronger. Sometimes you feel, why did this come to me? No, it came to you because it's a challenge. Use it as a challenge instead of surrendering to it, just like that. See the great personalities never had an easy life. If you look at all great personalities, they did not get an easy life, isn't it? No silver plate. They were not born, their path was not full of roses. Actually, their path was full of thorns. Did they give up because there are thorns in their path? What did they decide? They said, it's okay. It's a road full of thorns, but I have to walk on that road, isn't it? So let me go ahead. That was how they forged their way. The hurdles are a part of a plan that is in place for our training. This was in the context of the great ones. The student says, but it could be for the great ones. But what for ordinary ones, ordinary person like me? The student says, see, you are giving me example of great people. Great people are fine. They are great from the beginning only. But what about an ordinary person like me? The student asks. The teacher immediately responds. He says, who says you are an ordinary person? See, you are like you. You are distinct. Nobody is exactly like you. There may be someone similar in appearance, but your palm impressions are different and unmatchable. Is there another Reni in the world? Is there another Dhanur? Is there another Vishwa in the world? Yes? Yes or no? What is Vishwa saying? Yeah, can you unmute and tell me, Vishwa? Because it's not clear.
Yes, sir.
What, there is another Vishwa in the world like you?
No.
No, isn't it? You are unique. There is no another person with Vishwa name will be there, but that person will not be exactly like you. You are unique, you are special, you are how you are. Like you, another person cannot be. Same with Dhanur, same with Reni, same with all of us. We are all having that uniqueness inside. The student says, yes, sir, that's why these impressions are meaningful in finding out a particular person. Fingerprints, you've all heard of them, isn't it? That's a very crucial evidence. Why is it a crucial evidence? Because
Nobody
my fingerprints will be with mine. Yes, Dhanur. Yes, tell me.
has our fingerprint.
No one has our fingerprints, isn't it? But you have to be careful. Nowadays, digitally, people are hacking and using others. So we have to be careful about where we are leaving our, they call it digital fingerprint. So yeah, I think when you grow up, no, all of you, you are already growing well, but another 10 years later, there's going to be a big transformation of technology. So you can already start becoming safe and aware about it. But this is true. What is this? That each of us is having uniqueness, which is unlike anywhere else. The teacher says, when you understand this difference in physical aspects, just think of the different thoughts and functionings of the mind, which is far more difficult to comprehend than these physical impressions. So, physical appearance, you might find another person who looks like me. You might find another person maybe who looks like you also. Oh, this person looks just like me, you may say. But that is physically, isn't it? But even that person, when you look from close, you can understand they are not exactly same. Some small differences. But what about mind? Can people have the same thought in the mind all the time? What this person is thinking, same thing other person is, just because that person looks similar? No. Mind is much more dynamic. Mind is much more, unique in each person. The student says, yes, sir. It means that every individual is different and a master of his own self. The teacher says, yes. And so the hurdles and difficulties come with a purpose. The student says, what purpose? The teacher says, purpose of making you stronger and stronger. That's why we are learning these key points to be mastered so that we grow in a right and progressive way to achieve the highest. In previous classes, you have learned to become strong physically, mentally, and emotionally. And these are the key words to be observed and followed in life. What is the ultimate aim of life? The ultimate aim of life is to grow and progress. That's what the teacher is saying. So, all these hurdles that have come to you, they have come to make you stronger. That is how you should be ready. Because can we complain about the hurdles in our life? Whom will you complain? Number one. And because you complain, will they go away? I don't like organic chemistry. Can I complain like that? I can complain, but it's going to be of no use, isn't it? I cannot escape. And the nature has a way of, if you try to escape, also it comes back to you. That is how nature is. I had to do BSc chemistry 8 years after completing my mechanical engineering. Some one subject I did not like in life. There was only one subject. That subject I had to then become friends with because I had ignored it at the right time. Probably if I was in school and studied it well, that may not have been required. But it came back. So it's something like that. Instead of complaining about the hurdles, instead take it as a challenge, and then move ahead. There are points to remember for today. Number one, study the different types of food chains in the ecosystem. This is a beautiful way to understand. It is also like it gives you a quietude. It is like meditation. If you observe, no? Just imagine you go to a garden and you suddenly start observing the ecosystem. You're able to concentrate on so many things at one time, isn't it? Can anybody try that? Can you look outside of a window and try to see it from a garden or somewhere? Even human ecosystem you can identify. If you say some people say there are no plants outside of my house. Nowadays that has become a rarity. Only cement jungles. But forget that. Look outside. You'll see different types of people working, isn't it, in the society? Different types of work going on. And try to understand how they are all connected with each other. So this is number one. Study the different types of food chains. We have a couple of days before we resume on Monday. Then there is a definite plan behind the chaos in our life. Sometimes we think everything is chaotic, but in this chaos also, there is a definite plan. The number three, you are like yourself, unique, and there's nobody in the world like you. This you please don't ever forget. Sometimes situations come which will make us emotionally sad. Sometimes we suddenly feel, no, I'm not, because you are not, according to your standards, you have not reached something, you suddenly start feeling, I am hopeless or I am not up to the mark. Forget all of it. You are like you, and this is a blessing for the world that you are like you. Nobody is going to be like you again in all this full history of life, no? So many thousands of years, if you can say in so many millennia also. Will another Rini be born? Yes or no? No. Will another Vishwa, another Dhanur? No, it is not. So this uniqueness you must understand. There's never going to be anybody who's going to be just like you. Then the ultimate aim of life. What is that? This is something because many times we don't understand what is the ultimate aim. We run after the wrong things, driven by what? Personal desires, personal wishes. When I was very small, what was my biggest aim in life? Become a truck driver. Then open a restaurant. Why open a restaurant? Because I can get free food. Now, isn't that very silly? That's the silliest thing to think of, isn't it? But that was my idea, no? When I was small, my mind was not ready, so developed. So that was what I was thinking. But afterwards, it changed, isn't it? So what is this? These are all small short-term aims, short-term goals. But what is the ultimate goal which is not going to change throughout your life? What is the aim of your life? Because many times I've heard a couple of doctors, they were discussing, we were having a nice introspective session. They're close to retirement. They're saying, I've been busy all my life. I never understood what's the aim of life. Despite being so successful on the outside, they're questioning at a wrong time, isn't it? I mean, that no time is wrong to ask questions, but these are questions we should ask ourselves before in life when we are young, when we are ready to do a lot of things. So, what is the aim? The ultimate aim is to grow and progress. We have to become better. There is no competition that I have to get more than that person. I have to become better than what I am today. If you are following that, you have already understood the biggest aim of life. That is something very important. So, with this, we complete today's session. We go what is the 16th chapter. Can someone recollect anything that we saw today? Yeah, okay, Reni. Okay, Dhanur first. I think Dhanur's hand went before Reni. Then we go to. Is that okay, Reni? All right. Yes, Dan. Vishwa. Sorry, Vishwa. Tell me.
Sir, we saw our life circle.
Our life?
Circle.
Okay, life cycle or life circle. Okay.
And I won't look like somebody, but like me, I can only be.
Very good. You are unique. Exactly. Perfect. Wonderful. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right. Very good. Reni, would you like to add?
Sir, we are unique in every single aspect, and all the hurdles that we face is only created so that we become stronger, and everyone is a student in one way or the other.
It's a nice thing, no? When you are a student, you can actually learn so much. And that is the best way to always proceed in life. All right, with this, let's close our eyes for exactly 2 minutes. Okay? One, two, three. Let's start. No looking left, right, no scratching heads. Yes, 2 minutes. Okay. All right then. See you next week. But next week we will have, I'm actually starting one workshop for adults. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays it will be there. So we'll have a session as usual, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay. We wanted to catch up on some missed sessions. That is why this week we had multiple sessions. Next week again we'll have the 3 sessions. We are going to complete chapter 16, 17, 18. And totally there are 19 chapters. So we are nearing the what we can say completion of our workshop. All right then. Okay, see you next week then. Bye.
Sir,
Thank you
bye.
so
Yeah,
much, sir.
bye bye. No doubts, right? If anybody has any doubts, all right. Okay.